My guest today is Carina Edwards, CEO of Quil Health. Carina has dedicated her career to helping others leverage IT to improve health outcomes, minimize risk, and reduce cost. In 2016, she was appointed to the board of directors of the College of Healthcare Information Management Executives, and in 2019, she was named by Becker's Healthcare as Female Healthcare IT Leaders to Know. And Carina, we are pleased to get to know you today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
On your website, Quil Health, is a phrase that I love. Stop worrying and start quilling. Can you tell me about Quil Health's history, how it's designed to help caregivers and seniors stop worrying?
Absolutely. And start quilling. Yeah. So we leaned into this and we had a lot of fun with it because you know what? We are here to make better, happier, healthier aging possible. And there's this dynamic relationship between the caregiver and the loved one, the senior they are caring for. And how do we take technology and make it supportive for both? And we now have, I think, one of the best cohorts. We have seniors that are receptive enough to technology. So we are a digital health joint venture between Comcast, NBC Universal, and Independence Blue Cross. We're headquartered right here behind me in Philadelphia. And we've been on this mission for over 4 years. 2 years ago, we really pivoted the business to age tech and supporting caregivers and supporting their loved ones. And we launched our first product this August. So it's been an amazing adventure.
What's your history using this product?
So my history using this product is, first, before we launched it, we did about 10 months of really depth, in-home trials, right? We had over 100 households connected because the solution, I should probably describe that before I tell you too much about it. The solution is a non-wearable, but could include wearables, but the core solution is what we call a connected home system designed to give caregivers peace of mind and seniors their privacy. And so think of it as home motion sensors, door detectors. We have a nice little hub. If you need buttons, we have panic buttons as well. We call them don't panic buttons. And if you happen to have Comcast at home, we have a TV channel on Comcast to talk to caregivers and seniors and educate them. And then we also can work with the entire ecosystem of Apple, Alexa, all the wearables that are out there. And so what we do is we learn the patterns of the home. We alert and detect on things that change. And so my use case of this, I say lovingly, I manage 4 people over 78 in my life. And my dad and my stepmother live in a 3-story townhouse. And that's a lot, as they start aging. And so there's been a fall. And so what we did is we actually, during the beta, the trial period of this, I put there's no cameras. I put motion detectors on the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st floor. I put a door detector on the garage door, the front door, and the back door. And then I also had a motion detector in the kitchen, specifically in the kitchen. And so where this has gone from, my dad has an Apple Watch. We connected that into the system. And so now I get insights that are really important to my dad's state of health. He's okay with me sharing his information, but he's got some cardiac issues. He's had some fall issues and balance issues. And so I get alerts and detections when his heart rate pattern changes significantly. I get alerts and detections when he might have been to the kitchen on average 5 times a day, and he's only been there twice today. And so I say, I get alerts and detections when the temperature changes because oops, I didn't want to tell you the AC broke. Okay, those kind of things that change from the baseline pattern. I know when he's up and around. I know when he's sleeping or they're sleeping. And so it's a really, when you think about this, it's like, think about the activities of daily living in your own home. There's no cameras. People want their privacy, but you want to know that mom's okay. She's up and around. She's been to the kitchen. She's doing well. And if she leaves, the door detector tells me hey, they're no longer in the home. They're out and about. That's where the wearables come in really handy, because then I have location services. I kind of know where they are. So this is an IoT platform. I hate to sound geeky with the technology. This is for caregivers, right? And so caregivers, this is basically, we've taken home security and flipped it on its head to give you insights and patterns. And if they need emergency support, we give them choice. In the app, the setup, when you get Quil Assure, you decide together with your senior. You sit down and you ask them what their preferences are. You sit down and say, like, do you want this to escalate right to emergency support? Do you want someone to call you first? Do you want to call me first? Like, who do you want in the calling tree? Like, where? And we do that on about 20 different types of alerts and insights. So depending on the situation, if you have, early Alzheimer's, you might want a late night text message if you notice someone's not at home. If you have just someone deteriorating, maybe we had in our trials some cancer patients, right, going through chemo. When they're not feeling well, they actually do want emergency support, right? There's things that could happen that, like, this is not right. I'm not normal. I need help. So we let them pick how they want to be handled. And some will say, I never want it called. Call my daughter, call my neighbor, call my nephew, call my niece, call my grandchild, and they'll figure it out. So it's all about preference, it's all about choice, and it's all about personalization.
It's nice. You set the parameters in respectful partnership with your senior loved ones. It's an invisible bubble of care around them. If there's no issues, they never hear from anybody. But if something goes out of the parameters of their normal, lifestyle, then at least I might want to look into this.
Yeah, I want to check in. We've discovered UTI infections, more frequent bathroom visits. We've discovered, other things where, like, literally, I've stumbled, I've fallen. The falling piece is there's many ways to trigger support. We've actually taken, because we know people don't wear the buttons, dirty little secret. We've taken our buttons and we've taught people that at the bottom of the stairs, put one on your baseboard. In the bottom of the bathroom, put one there. Because if you do fall, right, you need to be able to ask for help. We use voice commands as well with our friends. I won't say their names, our 2 electronic assistants. You can connect those as well. And the senior, I think the big conversation starter here, right? For all of you kind of thinking through, like, how would I even broach this topic? Like, this seems like Big Brother, and it's not. I think the first thing I would say is we have a discussion guide on our website, because I think caregivers need to be armed with a discussion guide to say, okay, how are we thinking about this? And one of the big questions we get is, how tech savvy do they have to be? They don't at all. My stepmother is not tech savvy at all. Right? She has an iPad, she knows how to FaceTime, and, like, that's it, and some email. Like, yay. That's as technology savvy. The senior doesn't need to look at the insights. They have full access to them. If they want the app, they want a username and password, they can get it, so they know what you're seeing. But some are like, okay, gives you peace of mind, that's great. And the tools in the app are really for caregivers. It's coordination. It's a simple wallet with, I was at a conference once, and I think we all of us that work, right? I was at a conference in California. My father calls me, he's in the hospital, and he's like, don't worry, they're going to do a small heart procedure and I'll be fine. Okay, timeout. What hospital are you at? Oh, you're at Beth Israel Deaconess? Well, wait a second. Your cardiologist is at Brigham's and Women's across the street. Like, that's a problem. And so we designed a wallet not to be the electronic medical record. Who's the doctor? What's the number? How do you reach the PCP? How do you tell people what medications they're on? The simple stuff. Nice. We do medication reminders to the senior if they use an iPhone or an Android device. They get little pop-up reminders on the medications that you set when we do the pill bottles for the week or the 2 weeks. So it's really designed as a tool for you, the caregiver, to support each other, right? Task management, who's picking mom up from this or that, who's changing out the screens for the storm windows, all the other kind of things that goes on around caregiving that's not medical.
Well, this is a perfect fit for our annual board of directors meetings. We always say that family caregivers is the CEO of Caring for My Loved One, Inc. And let's say the board of directors, if there is such a thing, is the other family members who swoop in during the holidays now that they're able to, and come in and try to tell us what to do. So it's really nice to be armed with information that we can share with them and tell them what we need and how we need support. How do you see a caregiver telling their board of directors about the importance of Quil Health?
I think that the first thing I would say is, one, it's going to be peace of mind, right? So nobody has to then first start every day with, okay, who's calling mom and seeing if she's up and around? Because the app will say, hey, mom's up and around. So you get some peace of mind that you have insight into what's happening in the home when you're not there, when an aid's not there, when someone's not there. I think it also, the other piece is bandwidth, right? It gives you some bandwidth. It gives you that flexibility to know she's okay and can reach you whenever she wants. I'll keep on using mom in the example because I think it's easy.
Yeah.
The other piece, though, I think it's like, yeah, it's a savings, right? If you have home health aides coming to the house every day, or you're thinking about that, it's a very large expense. And so you think about this bridge, if mom's doing okay, and these are now some extra parameters where you might not have to be there once a day. Maybe you can be there every other day. So I think it'll give you that bandwidth and some cost savings, and it gives you a backup plan. If they can't reach you, she can get emergency support, right? It's just that like extra, all the calls will still come to you. You can control the experience for mom, but if you want them to go right to EMS, it's there for her. And you can care from afar. You don't have to be hovering. You know, what we've heard from our users, and that's why, you know, I urge you all, we had a lot of fun with our videos on the website because we're speaking to seniors to make them receptive enough, because this is this is the eager for fun generation. They are not leaving their house. They don't want to be like, they're not wearing a pendant. Like, they're adventurous to the end. And so, you know, I think that the biggest thing is it's improved relationships because it doesn't come across as that awkward phone call. You know, the checklist. Did you take your meds? Did you do the thing? Did you do the thing? What were the appointments? Like, you know it all. You know how things are going. So we've heard from both sides, seniors and caregivers. It really reduced my stress and anxiety. And it also really helped me build a more productive relationship and a more receptive relationship, because we're talking about more fun things. Tell me about the puzzle that you built today. Tell me about where you're going with the church. Tell me where you're going, you know, with your friends, like what's been going on in the community, like the things that are in their lives that are giving them meaning.
This is stuff you don't have to worry about now because you have Quil Health doing the worrying for you.
Start quilling, or actually stop worrying, start quilling.
Exactly right.